almost got laid off from my job in tech, and this is my story. But first, it's time to get a shower. Mandilah Singapura. Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Saf again, and for those new viewers, thanks for coming to the channel, and for those returning viewers, appreciate for coming back to the channel and viewing my content. So today's story time is a little bit sad, I guess, because for me, it was really quite an impactful moment, even though it didn't affect me directly. For context, I'm actually working in a big tech company, one of the biggest ones around the world. I was actually working there for about 3 years. I am still working there for about 3 years. Things seem to be going well, I guess, the past 3 years ever since I stepped into this role as a renewals manager. We've been through a lot, I guess, because we've actually been bought over by the parent company. And there were a lot of changes that happened within the 3 years that I was there. That included personnel changes, a migration exercise that got the whole team working together to make sure that we got on board, and that was to the credit of the bosses, making sure that everything went as smoothly as possible and making sure that we were always up to date with the knowledge that we had to ensure that our customers were the services that they wanted. Down the road, we actually survived one set of layoffs, in fact 2 set of layoffs over the past 3 years. You can see so many of these layoffs happening, and one of those layoffs did affect quite a number of my colleagues in Australia who I was working with, our global director for renewals. He was very certain that our company would not impact any of the team, considering our performance amongst, I guess, the global team, in fact. So we were one of the most highest performing teams in the world for that particular business unit. So come Monday this week, I think it was the 4th of February, so I came into office just as usual after my doctor's appointment. We didn't expect anything new to happen. I came into office on Tuesday, and I sense a feeling of anxiety around the place. It felt very unwelcoming. There was some cloud over some of the people around me when I was in office, and that's when I found out one of my colleagues who I was working very closely with, a partner manager, actually got axed or retrenched, laid off, whatever you call it. Right after that, I sensed some weird feeling inside that we had been impacted, but it's not really been announced. After that conversation I had with my colleague, and when he told us that he actually was leaving, we got an email from our global director of renewals. It was strange because he mentioned something in the email to get us into a meeting in a conference room in our office when he was actually based in Australia. So that was strange because he never usually comes over to our office unless it's a planned trip to the APAC office in Singapore for him to meet us, to catch up on new updates on the business and so on and so forth. We felt some sort of unease, at least in the general environment of the office, that something was about to happen. The next day came, of course, and there was an awe of suspense in the air, where everyone was hoping to hear better news than what we hear in the news right now, that we will be okay and things will be as normal. When we went to the office, went up to the 13th floor with a colleague of mine who was already shaking due to nervousness. We went to the office believing that we would get some reassurance as per the last 2 layoffs that we went through. he did reassure us that things are gonna be okay and we are gonna still have jobs, and yeah, we'll be safe from the layoff until my global director shared the news that our bosses are leaving. The blood drained out of my face at that moment. I couldn't really digest what was happening, and after a few minutes, when he continued talking and sharing with us that our roles were actually secure, as the only people who actually got laid off are actually the people in the middle management, and that included my boss, my previous boss who I was working with and who hired me, and another one of them, another manager who I am pretty quite close to, including their boss, and that also includes my director of global renewals, who is their boss. So that's 3 lines of bosses who got axed on the same day, within the same week. That left a big gap of questions that needed answering. Who was gonna be our boss? Who is gonna manage us from now on? What is gonna happen to our careers from now on? The story didn't end there. There were a lot of conversations after the meeting with my colleagues, and we were just sharing some possibilities of who our bosses could be, what the business model will look like, and the likely scenario would be that we will not be a team anymore. We don't like this feeling, I'm sure. It's a very sad way to see our bosses go. And it's not like they resigned, but they got laid off right there and then, because the business decided that they were redundant and we could do without that line of managers anymore. But truth be told, we were with the managers all the way, and we enjoyed their company and their leadership and how they've carried us through the years of working under them. And the relationships that we've built with them have really lasted through time, and it's something that we cherish a lot more than the job itself. Reflecting on this layoff does give me a lot of understanding into how the business of tech works. We always talk about bringing on new technologies, new features, new functions of technologies in the world, and that is really meant to help humans, but at the same time it does bring a consequence, and that consequence could be that your job may not be necessarily viable for a company to pay you to do. Reflecting again on that, I do understand that my job is not something I can stick to forever, and that is why I am using this channel as a way to share some of the ups and downs of this industry, what you can expect out of being in this industry, and if you were to get into the industry, what you need to look out for. At the end of the day, just remember, guys, that a job is still a job. We can be happy at a job. We don't have to spend all your time at a job. I think what's important are the relationships that you create around it, what makes you happy as a person, and how you move forward. Because what really matters is how you define your own way of living life. And I think that's really important to note. And I hope this video impacts someone out there who probably needs some encouragement when they are facing a layoff, or they have experienced a layoff. They feel that they don't have support around them. Some things like a trip with my colleagues was undeniably priceless. We did share about going for another trip next year, but it doesn't seem like that's happening again. But it's okay. I think what's important is we know that we made that happen and we enjoyed that trip, as a team. And even though it may be the last together, that's what makes life fleeting. That if you don't take these moments to enjoy your life, you'll never know what you're gonna expect, in the next months, quarters, years forward. I think the main takeaway here is to live life to the fullest. Never take your job as something that you have to die for, and believe in your abilities outside of your job. Yeah, you have a talent and you can make do with whatever you want to do in life. Do what you believe fits your talent and fits your motivations. To everyone out there who likes my content, I guess not anything that I would say is fantastic, but I'm trying it out. Yeah, it's something that I really want to pursue, and if it's something that you enjoy watching, do smash the like and subscribe to my channel so that I can bring more content like this to you. All the best to your 2025 and have a great new year.